All right, what's going on, everybody? It is Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide, the Coliseum 2, round number 3, and we have an excellent matchup for you today. It is Boo versus Fleury14 in the last of the lower bracket matches. We'll take a look at the bracket real fast and basically show you that all of the other runners have already completed their lower bracket match. We're just waiting for these two slackers to get ready, as it were, here. So Boo ended up defeating K Toysik in the first, or rather, that was round 2, actually, but the first part of the lower bracket. And Fleury, unfortunately, took a defeat at the hands of Green Monkey in the upper bracket, so that is why he is here now after defeating Jamian in his first round matchup. Meanwhile, Boo ended up losing out to Dr. DT, who is currently in the round 4 winners bracket, so he's moved right along here, and that's why we are where we are now. My name is TheSchwantz27. I'm joined in the booth by Kilbasiago, who may or may not be here. Is he stretching?
Oh, I'm here.
Oh, he is here. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I accidentally hit enter on the announcement, and I was like, you know what? Let's just do this thing.
Yeah, no worries. We're good.
All right.
So what flags do we have going for us today? I haven't been keeping up too hard with the Coliseum.
I am so glad you asked, and I definitely screwed up the placement of this guy here. We got Gogo's mirror, which this is supposed to look better than that. I'm sorry, folks. There we go. So, so we are starting with Gogo as one of our starting characters, you know, with his vanilla mimic thing that they do. And there's some other cool flag changes here. There aren't any global stat adjustments. However, if you do get a W in the Coliseum, you get the auto reflect status, which could be a blessing, but it could also be a curse, right? It'll help prevent enemy spells from hitting you, but it also prevents your own spells from hitting you if you want to, you know, boost your status or cure your party. So it'll be interesting to see if either one of our runners go there. There are no random excludes on the commands. That means things like Magitech and Shock and X-Magic, and which we haven't seen yet, Possess, is on the table. The XP multiplier is 4, which is 1 higher than our usual 3. However, the scaling for both the levels, the HP, and the MP of enemies is at your party highest level times 1. So this means two different things. One, free checks won't hurt you because there's no such thing as progression in terms of scaling, right? Because it just depends on what your party highest level is. And you can never out-level your enemies. You're going to have to outwit and outlast them like Survivor, so that'll be interesting to see. And then the other wrinkle here is that the no Ultima flag is off, so that's a fun double negative. But basically what it means is Ultima is available to our runners. So with these sort of options in mind, Keel, what do you think in terms of a start here with definitely having at least Gogo?
That's a weird one. So Gogo's check feels really bad to do later on, so I'm curious if everyone just guns for it once they find a warp stone.
Yeah,
Outside of that, it seems like it'd be pretty standard. Maybe just wait a little bit before you start taking fights so things don't outscale you too hard.
Yeah, it'll be real interesting to see about the Coliseum. I've seen some runners go for it, and I've seen some runners ignore it. I guess it'll depend on what our parties get in the chests and in the shops, because if they feel like they haven't gotten anything good, then maybe they'll dip into the Coliseum for an item, you know, because auto-reflect, like I said, it could be good and it could be bad, depending upon what we see early. I'm expecting some free progression at the beginning of the seed, too.
Auto reflect's a weird one because with ability scaling on, a lot the bosses that you fight are going to be casting a lot fewer reflectable spells. So it almost becomes less useful because ability scaling is on.
Yeah, and it's 2.5 instead of 2, so it's a slight difference, but I don't think runners will see any difference really between the two of them there. So yeah, that's our flag set. Let's go ahead and check out what our runners are rocking with here. Over on the left in that disgusting green color, that looks like you know, you go to the store on December 23rd, like I just did a few hours ago, and nothing is on the shelf except these one last items that are that color because nobody wants to pick that color. Then on the right-hand side is Fleury, and I'm getting like a chill by the beach, rather. You know, nice warm Christmas vibe on his screen.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I don't know what Boo's thinking.
Well, he's definitely going to have an impact on on what we have. And that seed is quite interesting. There's 3 of the Zozo people. I don't think I've ever seen a seed with 3 of the same sprite before. That's pretty nuts.
Is it a blessing or is it a curse? We'll find out.
Yeah. So yeah, the other difference here, Kilbasiago, that we neglected to mention is that the Kefka Tower skip is at 12 bosses. So even though free checks won't count against scaling, they also won't give us our boss counts, right? So that'll be interesting to see what happens here, as we've got lore on Strago and tools on Shadow. Is that what we started with? The little vanilla lore for Strago there. Clean Sweep and Blowfish. Those are okay lures to start, but we'll see if our runners get any other better ones here as we go on.
Blowfish is amazing, especially with Go-Go. If you can just cast it once, you can essentially just dish out 2,000 damage. It'll pretty much one-shot any boss in the game, like at a first level. Curious if either of them go for that.
Ooh, Dragonhorn in a box there on Flurry's screen, so I'm assuming Boo will be getting that as well, and he'll be happy, a known lover of the jump command.
Disgusting.
So yeah, with Shadow and Strago, we also have access to a lot of checks that kind of synergize with one another, right? Because when you're done with the Cave on the Veldt check, you end up in Thamasa, which is where you could do both Ebbets Rock and the Burning House. So we've already got like a route planned out here too, right? Because the Zone Eater Island is also off in that corner. So maybe we see like a Zone Eater to Cave on the Veldt to Burning House to Ebbets Rock situation going on here. Earrings in a shop are very nice. Oh, and there's the boots in the shop too.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
So we'll see if either of our runners pick that up later.
Flurry starting with a South Figaro first. Not something you see often.
Yeah, because there are times when we normally do a run into, you know, either returners or Narsh, because the ship is right there. Boo's going to show us here what's at Gau's Manor. It's a Minerva.
It's alright. Not a great like starting item, but you won't be sad later.
Yeah, no. Minervas do nullify both fire and ice and thunder damage, as well as give a boost to the user's total magic points, and or not total magic points, total MP, and does give some magic power stat increases. A red jacket there, that's also very nice. That's a fire-resistant piece of armor. However, none of these starting characters can naturally equip either one of those nice armors, so we'll see if it's part of the random. Oh, an offering down there, too. Wow.
That's a lot of pretty good items. I think Boo got a hero ring earlier.
Yeah, with lore and Blowfish, though, you know, we don't start out with a lot of MP, so maybe we'll see some grinding, or perhaps runners take to the floating continent to do the, you know, 3 fixed encounters in order to get their levels up here, prior to going to do any real checks, right? So we'll see if that happens as well. But items like economizers and gold hairpins are much more palpable at lower levels with lures, because I think Blowfish was in the 60s for an MP cost, right? Which is pretty high. I don't think we get 60 MP until, you know, double-digit levels, perhaps.
Yeah, you'll probably have to take a fight or two to be able to cast it once.
So as Keith points out, the fact that our scaling is based on our party levels and not based on progression means that things like Auction House and to Zen Thief are also more enticing, right? Because you could buy that stuff without increasing the scaling either. And we certainly have a lot of junk in our inventory. What's Fleury going to do with all that junk in his trunk? We'll have to see as he's selling it off now. He saw something in this shop. And it's just sleeping bags.
Good investment. And the one dried. Oh, 3 dried meat. Powerful.
Yeah, I buy dried meats more than potions. They're just more cost effective. They do only 100 less damage healing. And you only need potions or dried meat like very early in the seed most of the time anyway, you know? So I'm a big jerky guy, I guess. In the game, not in real life. I'm not a huge fan of jerky.
Keep your sodium low.
Yeah. Well, he just bought a stack of tonics, so I don't know what's going on here. Enhancer, very nice on Boo's screen. That gives +7 magic power to anybody that could wield it. So that's a nice pickup there. It doesn't do anything for Blowfish because that's just a flat 1,000 damage, but his other 2 characters will hopefully help. I know we started out with Shadow Tools. Have we seen like a drill or a chainsaw or anything like that yet in the shops?
I don't think we have, or at least haven't bought one.
Maybe they found it in the chest and I just missed it. So we'll see how it goes here.
Well, nobody's found warp stones yet, so going to Zone Eater might be a fool's errand at the moment because you'd have to run out.
Yeah,
I don't think they found warp stones.
That's both a good thing and a bad thing, right? Because, yeah, it feels bad taking the time to walk out, but if you happen to dodge the bridge throw the first time around, you could at least get all the chests that you sort of missed on the way in, right? And we have seen some good stuff for our runners. There's a drill. We have seen, you know, boots in a shop. We grabbed a horn in a chest, an offering in a chest, a Minerva in a chest, but nothing really to deal any damage yet, except for, you know, that drill in that shop there. Yeah, earrings in that shop too. That relic shop's pretty loaded.
Fleury picked up a enhancer too when he was in South Figaro, so they're both going to be kind of doing work right out of the gate.
Yeah, so we'll perhaps see, you know, our runners lean on Drill early on. Drill is a tool that deals damage based on your strength stat, so an Atlas Armlet or a Hyper Wrist will help you out in boosting your damage there. And it looks like Boo is heading over to the World of Ruin, and they may be going for Zone Eater. Nope, not yet. Pit stop at the other South Figaro. Fleury, meanwhile, is going to dig in this monster in a box to see what it is. He already has an offering, and he already has a Minerva, so maybe this is just if this is Gigantos, or if this is PM Stalkers, I can get easy levels that way, but it's not.
It's a wolf. An 84 experience wolf.
Ow! Did any of them even get levels for that?
No.
That's awful. Alright, so you can loot the World of Ruin South Figaro, as Boo is showing that YNPC Reflect basically just changes the character into the current head of your party, which I thought was kind of fun. Doesn't help with, you know, sequence breaking or anything, but, you know, it's a fun thing to do.
Mm-hmm. You just picked up the some warp stones. I wouldn't be surprised if Boo just kind of goes after this.
So it's 42 MP for that Blowfish, not 60 something. I don't know what I was reading. So yeah, now having warp stones, I suspect, since Fleury is also heading in here, both of them will do that.
I would not be scared with this party right now of pretty much anything. You just have to get enough XP to cast Blowfish once, and you can kill any boss, any fight, pretty much.
Yeah, because you could mimic Blowfish over and over and over again as long as nobody else completes a turn in the interim.
Right. Yep.
So.
And most bosses aren't going to have, you know, too much HP at level 3 to 10. He's getting that reflect.
All right, well, Boo is going to at least show us what's in the Coliseum here.
I think he opted not to sell everything earlier.
Yeah, that's usually what I've been doing in Coliseum flags, is try to sell as little as I possibly can. Gem box, there's more boots there. Aura Lance.
A flame shield.
Where was the... Oh, I didn't see the flame shield.
Ooh,
for a warp
Ooh,
stone.
Warp stone.
Yeah.
That's... You do that. You do that.
Or a sniper here. For an antidote turned into a sniper. There's some decent stuff in here, but the problem also with the Coliseum sometimes is you see all these shiny things and you're like, oh my god, I need all of this, and most of the time you don't need all of this. And Boo didn't grind at all, so this is a level 3 Shadow versus a level 3 Hippocampus.
Easy fight.
Yeah. Not
double air anchor.
There it is.
Boom.
Air anchor for the win. So he gets his auto reflect there.
Terrifying.
So he just grabs the sniper and just leaves. Interesting.
Does he go warp stone for flame? And he runs into Doomgaze.
Oh no.
Okay, okay.
Thank
I think
goodness.
he's good. I think he's alright. Oh baby, that's scary. That's some scary stuff.
Especially when you I hope that he saved as soon as he got out of the Coliseum, but
he didn't save before he went into the Coliseum.
Oh geez, that's even worse.
He is in go mode.
Yep. Curiously enough, Fleury decides not to pick up the boots there in that relic shop. Maybe he found some in another chest somewhere. Yep. Turning all the ladies into go-go's. I'm sure that the soldiers at the bar will be very happy with us. Oh, Keith pointing out he did buy some already. That makes sense. Thank you, Keith.
Wow, this is an unfortunate piranha fight.
Yeah. So I think it's between 5 and 55 seconds before the Risopus appears.
Yeah.
And this is definitely this is on the longer side for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's like a trick with this or not of just continuing to use the fight commands and never being in your menu to let that 55 seconds go as fast as possible.
Yeah, if you open your any menu at all, it's gonna pause the Risopus timer.
Oh, there's the reflect. And Fleury, meanwhile, sets his battle speed down to 1 to hopefully get engulfed by the Zone Eater. I'm assuming this is where Boo is going, considering he was heading, you know, out of in this direction. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It is taking a while to kill Risopus.
I'm guessing that they didn't have enough for Blowfish.
No.
And they will after this,
probably not. Probably not. But the good thing about fighting bosses when you're low leveled is they usually don't have enough MP to cast anything. Let's see if he sneaks by this Chancellor here. Nope. Oh, that was close.
No. Rewarded with a Crusader. Depending on the spells, that could be pretty huge.
Yeah, because the only way to get the Doomgaze spot is to run into it like Boo did, or if you've got Setzer, you could do the Search the Skies. So, unfortunately, the Esper Summon Crusader is not very good, but there is ultimate in this seed. I'm sorry.
I thought Fleury died there. Sorry.
I thought so too.
He was cutting it close.
Jeez. That's 2 in a row that were almost deadly. Oh, nice.
Oh, he's so happy and went back for that.
Yeah, especially with Go-Go having Mimic, you know, consumable, breakable things like rods and shields just become that much more powerful too.
Yep. Patador.
Palador pretty useful for jumping with your entire party so that you could skip over things like Fallen One and you could dodge Calmness. Although it's a bit more risky for Calmness because one of those characters is going to fall when the Calmness happens at least, right? Here we go. So we got no bridge throws here from either runner. Excellent job. That's why they're still in this tournament and I'm not. Alright, so we're getting a mobilist check here. Or, not a mobilist check. What the hell's the name of this town?
I definitely didn't see.
Thamasa? Oh, Thamasa, yes, thank you. Ooh! In World of Balance, Thamasa, we got Illuminas. Nobody can use them in the starting party, though. But that's huge information for Fleury later.
That's awesome.
So he'll eventually come back with more money because that's 65k for those Illuminas as well. He'll come back when he's got more money and when he's got better characters. So now for Fleury, I think he's thinking, let me find my character, my fourth character, my fifth character, etc. as soon as I possibly can. Because now I know where some big boy shields are, big boy swords are rather.
What are the equipment permissions? They just have a 33% chance to use items that they normally can't?
Yes, I think that's across the board in most of the flag sets, although I haven't studied all of them in depth, so.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. Mog is the only one that has different, so everything is equipable to everybody in Mog's flags.
Okay.
Which is cool because also all of the sprites are changed into the Moogles as well, so it kind of makes sense.
That one's really cool. I like that flag set.
Lots of Dragoon options. Alright, well, Boo has Reflect and a Sniper from the Coliseum that Fleury does not. However, Fleury knows where some Illuminas are. Oh,
Look
Fire 3 and stop.
Look
wow.
at that.
Very nice.
That's gonna be huge.
Alright, so those are basically the differences between our runners right now. They mostly did the same looting, right? Fleury knows where Illuminas are, and Boo has got Fire 3 teachable on an Esper.
This Strago's gonna do work.
And I was gonna say, it looks like both of them are going to the cave in the Veldt, but Fleury just went right past it.
Is he gonna go kill a dragon?
Well, killing a dragon doesn't increase scaling, right? And it's something that you could certainly do at a low level if you can, if you could do it. Remember, everything at level 3 doesn't have a lot of MP and has the least amount of HP it's ever going to have.
Yeah, he hasn't leveled at all, but he's taking a grind fight, so...
Yeah. The problem with level 3 is you're so weak that it's so hard to kill anything, and that's not going to help, and Boo sees a dead check on the floor as well. He's going for it anyway. Interesting.
Bold.
Well, remember, we do need to defeat 22 bosses to get a Kefka Tower skip, and this is... I mean, it's going to increase his scaling because he's increasing his levels. But,
do you mean 12?
Oh my god, in Tangier.
It's awful. My goodness. Oh my gosh, Sniper is beautiful.
Sniper offering. Love it. I'm sorry, 12. Did I say 22? My bad.
You did.
I know you corrected me, but I didn't hear it. Or I pretended not to hear it.
What a judicious ice shield.
Alright, well, Boo knows that the ice stooge there, Larry, is susceptible to instant death, so he says, hey, eat an air anchor. And this is another bad grind fight. I mean, it would be great if you could win it, but dragons will sneeze you away as a counter. Oh, look at those juicy sniper procs. I love it.
I know. So good. And auto reflect destroys these fellas.
So the Coliseum's looking like the good play so far between the sniper offering and the reflect here.
Boo's making the right decisions. Oh, look at Strago with the 1 HP. You better
He's
hope
hanging
he
on.
survives. Ooh, learns that Fire 3.
And in case we run into... oh, he also learns Whirlwind, too. Because Mo casted it. And validates his run by petting the dog. Look at him. He's our winner so far. Stop the race. 19 minutes in. We're good.
So I think now Boo pretty much has like no worries in this seed. Like my main concern with having auto reflect is like late game healing, right? You're not guaranteed to get good sources of healing, especially ones that you can't reflect. But Whirlwind is one that's just gonna pretty much solve any healing issues he has.
That's a good call. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, the only boss that he could run into that would give him a problem, obviously, is Magi Master, because we don't have Berserk yet, and Reflect will reflect most of his spells, but when he throws, like, Elemental Skeins at you, or some of the other AoE attacks that can't be reflected, you're kind of SOL.
I'm very surprised that Boo didn't go for at least one Flame Shield there.
Yeah.
In the Coliseum earlier.
Yeah,
That's messing with me.
Well, listen, you know, after the race, we could berate him for all the things that he did wrong. That's what we were allowed to do as commentary.
I will. I will. Is he about to find the Illuminas now? I think he is.
He's in the world of ruin, isn't he?
Oh, shoot, you're right.
He did find a Mega Elixir in a shop, though. Not as good as an Illumina, but that's not bad either. Alright, so Fleury, after getting a few bad encounters outside of Narsh and inside of Narsh, went to the South Figaro Cave and decided to do his grinding there. So now I think he's ready to go. Alright, so we know Cave on the Veldt is a dead check. We know that Gal Manor's a dead check, or not a dead check, is an Esper, and we know that Zone Eater is an Esper. I'm sorry. Gal Manor was also a dead check, right?
It was, yeah.
So our progression must be in a Strago check or on the floating continent somewhere.
Hopefully it's not Fnatic's Tower for Fleury's sake.
I will be back in just 1 second.
Yeah, take your time. Pretty good grind fight for Fleury. PM Stalker's super weak. They give like above average XP for like the level of effort required to just destroy them. Boo failing miserably at the dance with the fireballs. If you move at the right time, as the fireball moves into you, you can move into its direction. You can completely ignore the encounter. But unfortunately, he just took 2 fights. He might be able to get this next one. Yeah. I think Vulture Iron Fist, is that a fight from Mount Colts? That's a pretty okay fight. Yeah, just throw your face at it, Boo. Show complete disregard for that bird's life. I don't remember what the item reward was from Mo Curly Larry in the Veldt Cave, but Fleury ain't even chancing it.
Yeah, it was a gem box, so
yeah,
not usually something we want, but certainly sells for a lot. How are these fights in the Burning House so far?
He had Iron Fist and Vultures, and this is the only other one we've seen so far. So
Not
it's okay.
terrible.
He's getting some XP, yeah.
We just don't have much for Gogo to do right now.
Well, we have Fire 3, we have Blowfish.
Yeah, I mean for like grind fights. You don't want to be using Fire 3 on grind fights before you get to the boss, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice flame dodging there, and let's see what the boss is here. He's already at level 16, which is pretty good.
I think he's powerful enough to deal with most of it. He can cast like one Fire 3, and then hopefully he doesn't get like Flame Eater. But even then, he's Clean Sweep, so as long as it's not Magi Master,
Oh, boy.
Doom's okay, I think. I think he's perfectly fine here.
Until phase 2, he's fine. Oh no, Blowfish doesn't matter. Blowfish doesn't get reflected, right? So.
Yep.
There we go. Very nice.
Well, he chose not to mimic it. I guess he can just cast it on his own. That's fine too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Blowfish is definitely the smarter play.
Oh, and he's got Offering with the Sniper, so it doesn't matter about the image status, right? Because Offering doesn't care about that. So, okay, this is a lot easier of a fight than I thought it was going to be. I mean, me and Doom have personal beef, but...
I am scared of nothing if I were in Boo's shoes here. You have, like, Minerva, you got flat damage.
Yes, we do have access to Trace Fuego, Jefe. The best of all the spells.
It sounds like a rapper.
Yeah. Trey Fuego up next in the booth on Final Fantasy Freestyle Fridays. Right after this race, obviously. He's got that crossover reggaeton hit.
Beautiful.
Now we're just getting ridiculous.
Shadow's just over here chopping wood.
Yeah, I was going to say, speaking of ridiculous, Fleury finally finds his coral chest. And we'll see here what the boss is. Dick.
He doesn't have nearly as many tools.
Well, actually, he has 3 tools, and Boo only has 1. Yeah, Blowfish and Drill, I think this will be okay.
I forgot that Blowfish was targetable. So yeah, he's fine.
Yeah, normally, when you see Rexall and you have a magical, like, party, you're like, oh god, because his magic defense is so high. But with Blowfish, that doesn't matter, right?
Yep. Check out this XP for Boo. Ugh, 15,000. Snow Muffler.
Oh, that doesn't feel good, though. That's 2 Jed checks in a row for Boo.
It's okay, that just means all the remaining ones are good to go.
Alright, so our character has got to be either in Fanatic's Tower, the Floating Continent, or we'll see if Fleury runs out of the cave. Nope.
But at least it's progression.
Yeah. It's better than a Burning House dead check in a seed where it doesn't matter if you get progression or not, right? And that's Ice 3 on that. So we got a little fire and ice going on here.
That's really good. Buying the boots. A couple more earrings, that's a good play. Gogo doesn't have earrings on, so once he starts casting Fire 3, he'd regret not buying those.
Yeah, yeah. Because earrings don't do anything for Blowfish, right? For obvious reasons, but...
Where do you go next if you were Boo?
I'm
going straight to the Floating Continent, yep.
Yeah, yeah. It stinks because he's already pretty highly leveled, and the Floating Continent, as Fleury's heading there now, is usually a play I do when I'm, like, feeling under-leveled, but that's not a case in this flag set. That's a cheap to Zen Thief, too. That's very nice to see, because, again, we're not increasing the scaling of the bosses by buying our way.
Yeah.
And he already visited the Coliseum, so he doesn't have this feeling of, oh, I need to save my stuff so I could potentially get better stuff. Really good game knowledge there from Fleury, knowing that that enemy is instant deathable. I don't think Wooly is. Oh, never mind. Wooly is. Very nice. Oh, there's horns for sale in World of Balance to Zen. So we have both boots and horn for sale. Boo is loving life, except going to a dead burning house.
Just not having enough money.
Life 3 on Phantom. Life 3 actually can't be reflected, which is nice.
Oh, really?
I didn't know that until I saw somebody else try it, and I was like, oh, okay, that's a thing.
There we go. Good call, Boo. You always want to do Fanatics early, just because there's 2 guaranteed progression. The first and the third check, I think, are guaranteed character Esper.
Yes.
So it's just a safe play if you need either characters or Espers.
And at this point, our only other option is Kefget and Archer Fanatics Tower for our character, right? So they're more than likely going to be here.
I hope it's Kefgat and Arsh.
Listen, I didn't roll this seed, so it could be wherever it wants to be. I won't get people mad at me for for picking this. That's all I really care about. If we had a rage user, this would also be a nice fight too. Because Wooly is nullifies or absorbs a lot of different elements and will cast Ice 3 as the rage, so that would be nice, but we don't have anybody with rage yet. And Flurry is basically just casting Air Anchor and then waiting for the enemies to kill themselves. Very nice. Rocking counterattacks to do so. So, great game knowledge there. As Boo is just...
done.
You know what? I don't know what's better. Letting enemies kill themselves to death or using the offering sniper. They're both delicious. Alright,
Offering sniper wins.
So here we got 2 bosses that we have to fight before our first check. We do get a story heal in between our checks. But we need some more MP before the first one. Dr. DT saying in chat, Dispel is also not reflectable. Very interesting. Oh boy. Well, here's where that stop is going to come in handy for Boo. That Flurry does not have access to.
Curious to see how much this Ice 3 does. I'm going to guess probably more than other spells that he has. Pretty good.
Yeah. Do we have any rods to break? I didn't think we picked any up.
I don't think so.
Alright, well, Strago's better off doing Blowfish for 24 more damage. So he's waiting to Shadow to get his turn again so he could cast Ice 3 and then mimic it with Gogo. This fight's going to be a lot faster, I think, on Boo's side. Or maybe not faster, but definitely easier.
Yeah, he just topped himself, so... Poltergeist. This is just a spam Blowfish for Boo. That's it.
Alright, so Boo showing off that auto reflect is worth getting. Maybe we were wrong with all of our speculation earlier.
I still think that it could bite you in some seeds.
Yeah.
But we found the nuts. We have ways around to heal, so we can just never worry about taking it off. And that's pretty much all you need.
Yeah.
Oh, we clean sweeping. This Strago might do more than 1,000. Yeah, there we go.
Slightly higher levels from going through the burning house, right?
But is it slower? Is it less DPS? Blowfish is pretty quick.
That's true. Well, he's got to get some more MP here. Yeah, because the clean sweep has to, like, you know, do the wave in the background and then come up in the foreground. It's definitely one of the cooler animations for sure. Yeah, so Whirlwind does not get reflected, which is huge for Boo, because he learned that from the Three Stooges fight, which means that he could heal his party even with Reflect. Fleury getting past this Poltergeist first, although he was first to this fight.
I don't think Boo's too far behind.
No.
I don't know how they are relatively to each other with levels right now. Boo's higher. I just don't know how much higher.
Dataluma for our next fight. This shouldn't be a problem either. We can get past Poltergeist.
Yep.
Pulling out that Whirlwind spell. So Whirlwind will heal your entire party for the HP that the caster has. And Shadow goes down here. Wonder if Boo's gonna get him back up. One of the bad things about having a higher level party, though, is that these more beefy bosses are gonna be harder as well, right? Because both their regular scaling and their HP scaling is based on your highest level. And with these endgame bosses, they certainly dish out a lot of damage.
Yeah, he was doing like 30% of Shadow's health one spell, whereas he was like tickling Fleury.
Alright, and it's Cyan at the first spot here with Capture.
Finally.
Ooh, we could rock that Aura Lance,
we got
though.
The jumper.
There it is.
The jumper.
Get out your seat and jump around. Fleury came to get down.
And you know Boo's gonna do the same.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm pretty sure he went out of his way to get Dragoon boots earlier.
Oh, Shadow is just
this Shadow
getting
just
beat
keeps
up.
getting owned. Just straight up decimated.
Oh, and he's gonna miss out on all that juicy XP too. Yeah, and unfortunately, since it's party highest level, right, it still is based on the people in your party that were alive when the fight ended.
Yeah. This Dataluma doesn't stand. He's not living long. He's a higher level, and I think that Fire 3 is gonna wreck him. Ugh.
Yeah. He's already in the 3k damage range.
Dirty.
Yeah, so I think even though Boo is not as close, or is less ahead on the floating continent, rather, with his offense right now at the moment, between the offering sniper and the levels that he's got, I think he's got a slight advantage, especially with finding Whirlwind, too.
The Cave on the Veldt boss fight was such a weird play, but it really worked out for him.
Yeah, because that was the Stooges, right? So Fleury,
yeah, it was a
Fleury
dead check.
noped,
You knew it was a dead check going in.
And Fleury noped out of it, so he's not going back there.
Yep. No chance.
I also missed the fire chicken as well, even though I got my emote. Where is it? Alright, and, well, this is a different kind of chicken. This is the opposite of a spicy chicken. This is a, it's a frozen chicken.
It's about to be roasted over on Boo's side when he gets there. Luckily, we have the drill for Fleury. We'd have Blowfish, too.
Hey,
We're
look,
fine
Fleury
way.
is cast and reflect the good old-fashioned way.
That's awesome. Doesn't stop a cold dust, though.
Yick. Yeah, this fight's gonna take a lot longer for Fleury because he does not have that Fire 3 spell that Boo got from the Esper off of running into Doomgaze by mistake. Or did he do it on purpose? Oh, that's a nice pickup there, too.
Wow, who gets that chest? Boo, stop playing so weird, man.
I only get that chest if I'm going to save, right? Because you're already halfway over there.
Yeah.
And he didn't save. I normally always save at that, like, cave spot. Because otherwise, if you wipe to this boss, you're going to have to do that entire walk all over again, and that's never fun. Can Tritok be rasped to death? Find out.
Oh. Alright.
Oh, and now Fleury's got his second character frozen that could actually damage Tritok.
I don't know if you just saw that, but he just hit for quad 9s. He just two-shot the damn thing.
Wow.
Amazing. He's pulling ahead right here. That paid off in big ways. What's on a Starlit here? It's alright. Bold 2, doesn't hurt to have.
I mean, we got all the elements, right? Between, well, Boo does. Fleury, unfortunately, does not have any fire magic. So yeah, significantly longer Tritok fight as well. Well, we got almost a sync getting thrown off of the... getting thrown off of the hill here. Yeah, I think in Boo's case, it was just... He got lucky that he has Fire 3 and Fleury doesn't for at least Tritok. The Tritok spot, right? But he also has higher levels, which is good and bad.
Hey Schwantz, what do you do once we're done with Floating Continent here? You just gun Doma? Like you just go straight for the Cyan's Nightmare?
Yeah, because...
Probably what I would do.
Well, I think if I'm Fleury, actually, I go for Doma Siege to see if it's a character, because he knows where the Illuminas are, and Cyan... I don't know if Cyan can or can't equip the Illumina, because we don't have one, right, to check the equipable. So if Cyan can equip it, then that's cool. If not, go find your next character as fast as you can. And Cyan's Dream, the only place you could find a character is at the second spot, right? So I think that's what I would do if I was Fleury. If I'm Boo, then yeah, I'm with you. Go to Cyan's Dream and get yourself some more Espers.
Yeah, it's a pretty good call out. I didn't think about that. You're still a little like you don't have full coverage as Fleury. Getting an Illumina would help a lot. So.
And this is not going to give either of our runners any XP or MP, which feels bad. It also depends on what we find here, too, right? We find another character here.
That's fair, yeah. You never know.
But yeah, definitely Cyan's Dream looking like the play. It only has 2 bosses for a 3-part check, and currently Fleury has 4 bosses killed, and Boo has 5, 6? Yeah, 6.
Look at that. They start almost the exact same time. They finish the fight the exact same time.
I mean, 42 minutes in, this is a pretty cool sync, and oh wow! It is Gal.
We got the meat.
Oh, with natural jump.
Natty jump? The wild child with natty jump?
See, here I would set my party down to 3 and go to the Velt, because that's guaranteed progression.
Oh, that'd be pretty good.
But neither of our runners decide to do that. Boo is going to actually do it, but he just took an extra couple of seconds to get there.
And he's kicking Shadow out of this party.
With
Uses
the
it there
offering
for
sniper?
the shadow sniper. Yeah, it wasn't doing too much though. It doesn't scale like amazingly. It's okay. But he has Gao with natural jump. Oh no, he took shadow. Okay.
Well, he also
Oh.
set his party down to 3. And
Yeah, that's
Fleury,
fair.
where's he going? I thought he was going to do the same.
I would take that Gao on my team.
Well, we do know where dragon horns are for sale, right? They're
Yeah.
at least Boo knows where they are. I don't know if Fleury knows where they are. Because Boo did get the magic from Tizen Thief.
I'm really surprised that Boo didn't turn Cyan into a dragoon. He has both items, right?
I would think he does.
He found the horn in South Fig, and then he bought one in Narsh. I'm pretty sure. Look at that, you called it. He's going straight to the siege.
There you go. There's your Illumina user.
You are so big brain.
Oh, wow.
With the possess?
Oh, we're going to see double possess as we get a different character for Boo. This just got exciting.
What do? What do? And then Boo got lock.
See, here's the part where my brain starts to get overloaded at the options that I have, and I short circuit and I spend 5 minutes in a menu.
And Boo just flew right over Doma Castle before he swapped party members, so he could be getting Celis as well.
So, since Celeste has Possess, and I don't think we talked about this a lot, because this is the first race I broadcast in anyway that has Possess. Basically, Possess is a win now button. You could kill any boss in one shot with Possess. However, the character that has Possess is removed from your party back to the airship, and they get no XP or MP for the fight. So, we could essentially sacrifice Celeste to the gods every single boss, and make this real quick and real easy. Or, if we want to keep Celeste as a character in our party, the whole time, then we don't use Possess, right? We could, however, put Possess on Go-Go and sort of do that. However, you're only going to get 3 characters leveled up the whole game versus all 4.
So there's also a very interesting strategy that you can do then for the final fight. And I see this pretty often.
Mm-hmm.
If you run Go-Go and then another character with Possess, you get 2 Possesses, so you can kill off tier 3, and then you can immediately mimic it with Go-Go. And it just essentially just finishes the game.
Yeah. Everything can be killed with Possess, even Final Kefka. You will still get the Calmness counter on tier 3 if you do it that way, though. So you first put your Calmness protection up, whether that's Golem, Fenrir, Phantom, Vanish, Palador, whatever it is you want to do. And then you do your Possess onto Sleep, and Sleep will use Calmness and die. And then you could use Possess on Final Kefka, and it'll take a second, but then you get the Crack Pow, and there it is, Illumina for Celeste.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so that's why Possess is off by default, because if you really wanted to, you could win the game without even trying, essentially. So Possess can miss, so if you queue up the command, sometimes it won't actually possess the boss. So it's not, a one-hit kill on the first turn there. Alright, so here comes the Illumina, and unfortunately only Celeste can use it. Uh-oh, what are Boo's levels? Let's find out. Whew, okay.
The right levels.
He's got the right stuff.
Yeah, see, that Shadow's only hitting for like 1,400 a turn. It's not great.
Yeah. So, you could, if you do Possess and the Possess fails, the character just skips their turn, essentially. So you could try it again on the next turn. It's important to never do Possess during a multi-part check, or if you're in Kefka's Tower, though, because that character just goes back to the airship. So I've found, like, when I'm doing seeds with Possess, and I want to do the strategy of, I just want to win the game, I would just use one character as sort of a sacrifice and possess everything. And the time it takes to go back to the airship, put them back in your party, and then go back to, you know, driving around is worth it. You know, just to have the fight over sort of instantaneously. And that's Fleury caught up now in progression, buying that to Zen Thief Esper. So, as Keith points out, he's level 30 across the board. So if he goes to the dream.
Oh no. I feel so bad whenever I see that, but you like secretly want it to happen. You just hope they save.
Where is he going?
What World of Ruin?
Alright, so a question from the chat is, if you possess something in Kefka's Tower, can you still add them into the party? No. They're gone back to the airship. Meaning you need to either warp out or take the long rope up and then put them back into your party that way. So don't do that. It's not a good idea. So, infamously, there is a flag called, like, Shuffle Fun Baba 3 in with the rest of the bosses, and that's another Magicite there for Fleury. And what that does is Fun Baba 3 will use Baba Breath on his last 2 turns as his death counter, and Baba Breath essentially is the same thing as Possess, where your characters get blown back to the airship out of Kefka's Tower. So one of the jokes for a long time has been, oh, we love seeing Fun Baba 3 at the statues, because then he'll just randomly blow 2 of your characters back to the airship, and you're kind of... You either have to go back and go get them, or you got to continue on without them. It's pretty nasty.
It's pretty nasty.
Alright.
Wow, so we have a lot of, like, divergence here between the 2 runners. It was pretty, like, samey up until they did Floating Continent, and then they just went 2 different ways. I would imagine that they have pretty similar KT entrance times, though.
Well, we're both at 6 and 5. Neither one has checked the auction house yet, and Fleury is dangerously close to World of Ruin Jador. So maybe his plan is, let's do Mount Zozo, figure out what's here, and go do auction house and go get some more Espers. Ooh, nice elemental shield and a chest there.
Nice pickup.
Meanwhile, Boo has another boss to fight here, and he'll get 2 rewards. He'll get the reward after this, which is an Esper based on the imp on the ground there. And then it can only be an Esper and item at the throne, so this could be a 3 for 3 here. Unfortunately, offering and jump and horn is not great with Welk. Does getting returned to the airship get undone by a death warp? I guess I'm not sure what the death warp is, but yes, possessing with 1 character left it won't work. You'll win the fight, but then the annihilated text will pop up and you'll actually get a game over. So it doesn't count as a win. I don't know, have we ruled one way or the other if it counts as a win if you get annihilated during the final Kefka battle?
I don't remember what the general consensus on that was. I'm pretty sure that if you get to the end screen, like where they run out, then it's good.
Okay, so since you get a game over and you don't get the ending, then it doesn't count. Because if you do that, you won't continue on to the ending with, you know, the storybook and the pages flipping over.
But you get the crack pow, and I feel like there was a large group which fought for the crack pow being the...
Yeah. Well, that's when time stops, but...
Yeah.
Because that could also happen if you're poisoned, right? And you die in midair and come down on Kefka with a jump. Because that could also happen, too.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a clip in one of the round 3 matches of Umaro dying midair during a jump. Couple more Magicites here for our runners. One on the throne for Boo. So Boo went 3 for 3 in the Dream. That's very nice. And
Yep.
Fleury getting an Esper and a Dragon here.
I'd be surprised if they both didn't get the other character that they're missing. So Fleury getting Locke and Boo getting Celis. There's no way. They're such like easy pickups. And I'm pretty sure Fleury's the one who bought like 500 dried meats earlier. Oh, magic
Right,
power plus 2.
I'm reading the rules to see if there's anything about that in there. Yeah, it doesn't say. So I'm gonna try and see if Double Down's around and get a message and a clarification from him. So we'll continue on, assuming that that is not correct. Assuming that that means a game over means you don't win. So I'm gonna ask him now.
Better hope you get that flame shield. Boo got that gamer intuition right now. Fleury probably isn't a level divisible by 5 anymore, so he's probably good for this Doomgaze fight. Because he fought the dragon.
Well, we're certainly gonna find out, aren't we?
Yeah, maybe he got 5 levels.
Yeah, so possess with one character is essentially a game over. So it's the same thing as if you got a game over. So you would have to revert to a previous save in which you did not defeat whatever boss you possessed. Alright, so Boo and Fleury just swap places essentially here, huh?
Yep.
Alright, so
They're just doing a little dance.
So Fleury will get his go mode, and Boo will be 1 Esper away. So he might check the auction house? Unsure here.
Someone called out earlier that Boo's not a fan of the auction house. I don't know if that's true or not.
I know he's not a fan of Floating Continent, but went there anyway.
True.
Yeah, I'm not sure about why we have Go-Go, well, rather why we have Locke instead of Go-Go. Maybe it's because you can't really pad Go-Go with any stat espers, so their stats are pretty middling, although they do offer great utility. Maybe Boo is hoping that this Locke will eventually find something to do, right? Because his equipable pool is huge. He could equip most swords, he could equip that sniper, he could equip the Valiant Knife, right? So maybe Boo is hedging his bet and hoping that he gets something from somewhere.
I think Go-Go's busted. There's no chance I would throw him out of my party. With like a strong Go-Go start like he had. He's a healer because we have Pearlwind.
Mm-hmm.
He can possess.
Well,
like
Boo doesn't have Celeste, so he has no idea.
Oh, that's true. Oops.
We did find the Berserk spell on one of the Espers in the Dream, so that nullifies Magimaster. So I'm not really sure what boss, if any, we'd be afraid of, because we beat Doomgaze and we got 2 of the statues dead, right? Spicy Chicken and Doom.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so where is Boo going here? South Figaro Cave, which is one of Locke's checks. Did he visit the weapon shop?
Not yet.
Alright. Let's see. I'm going to count bosses here. How many does he have? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this will be his 9th boss, which makes sense as to why he's going here, right? Because then you could clear out the middle path with your full party, and then get the skip back to the other 2 statues. Yeah. So it makes sense why you pick this over one of the free checks. Yeah, so we on Boo's side, we have Tres Fuego, as it's affectionately known. We have I don't know what ice is in Spanish. I know what snow is. We have Ice 3, we have Bolt 2, and we have all the lores available to us. So Gogo could certainly be a good utility caster in Boo's scenario.
They just hit him with the ice tray.
Hielo? Ah, there it is.
Yeah, see.
That's what it is. Oh, it's a red cap. Not what he was looking to see, but he did defeat his 9th boss there. So now he can go to either the auction house or the weapon shop, and he's got his 9 bosses.
I'd be alright with a Mario cap here.
Yeah, I know that snow is nieve, but I forgot what ice was. So thank you, Pero, for giving us our lesson. You know what was funny? Before we started streaming, I greeted Kilbasiago in Spanish, and he's like, I don't know what you just said to me.
I'm a dumb American. I can only speak with one language. Is it an Esper?
Let's see.
Nope. Sucks to suck, boo.
Oh, wow.
It's get the auction house, buddy.
It's another red cap or another Genji glove, because remember, he did dig that Genji glove out of that out of the way chest on the floating continent.
Did he go for the red cap?
No, he picked up the other Genji glove. I mean, he's got a ton of warp stones and knows that it's warp stone for it was warp stone for flame shield. What? I forget what the sniper was in the Coliseum. All right, and at 10105, it is go mode for Fleury. Let's see.
Was there an Esper in the prisoner check in South Fig?
Yes.
Okay, so if Boo goes straight to there, then he's not too far behind.
All right, so there goes Locke. In comes Celeste with Possess. And I normally say it like that, but I know that like some people say Celes or Celis.
I say Celis.
Basura is my favorite Spanish word. I like peanut. Peanut is cacahuete. It just sounds awesome.
Possess it.
Yeah, well, I guess he wants to keep Celeste around in the party.
Yeah, that's probably the right call.
Alright, so Fleury only has 8 bosses, so we'll see if he goes to Toilet Atma first to get boss number 9 and then up the middle. So if he wants to do that, he's got to overload party 2. So he's not doing that. I mean, you could always walk back through the tower, but there it is. Celeste possessing the Air Force, leaving the 2 arms just hanging.
Amazing.
Gotta love it. Alright, so you'll see, or at least I hope you'll see, that Celeste is out of his party, and he has to go back to the airship to go get her. Yep, so now he has a party of 3. Alright, Magitech Factory is the play. The first 2 checks can only be Esper items, so I like this play a lot.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Especially depending upon... I might have miscounted, and maybe that's his 11th... Oh, I forgot about Doomgaze, so that's his 11th boss, actually. Let me double check. 1, 2, 3...
Oh yeah, Doomgaze.
4, 5, 6... Plus Floating Continent is 10. Plus South Figaro Cave is 11. So he'll fight this fight here and get to boss number 12, and he'll actually skip ahead of Fleury.
Yep, that's awesome.
So Fleury is in the tower first, but Boo might be jumping ahead of him, depending upon, obviously, what is at this spot.
You saved like 4.5, 5 minutes by doing the skip, so...
Oh, for sure.
He definitely comes out ahead.
And on top of that, Fleury has to go back and walk backwards to Toilet Atma, too.
Oh, true.
So it's going to be even longer.
Just gotta hope that these aren't 2 dead checks for Boo.
Yeah, because then he gets to skip, but then he's got to fumble around in the auction house. That's the quickest, I think, way to get his espers. Oh, look at that sniper.
Well, it's the prisoner check, right? The free cells check.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Then he'd be good to go.
You're right. The only reason why he's doing this is to get skip right away.
2 birds, 1 stone. Unless we get another Mario cap.
Hey.
No.
Alright, so Fleury's fights on the statues overall are going to be faster because he's going to either have his full party or he's going to have 2 of his 4 main party after skip. And Boo is going to have to divvy up his party 2-1-1 here, but Boo is actually going to catapult ahead of Fleury here, hopping over to the statues, and this Kilbasiago shows off the power of the skip.
Before 1.0, when you could skip unlimited times and just warp out, it was too much. I'm really glad we changed that.
There are people in the community that don't like that. I personally, I think the unlimited skip was too powerful, as you said, if you could use it the proper way. But it's also a lot more fun. Just skipping back in and out and in and out.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so...
Oh, he's throwing that possess on Go-Go.
Yes.
Definitely going to be the sacrificial lamb. Poor Go-Go.
All right, so looks like Boo is going to possess both of the side statues and send his full party up the middle. So he's not going to be able to use possess in the final battle to easily get past tier 3 and final Kefka.
Don't you get annihilated when you end the fight without a party member in possess?
I don't know. We're going to find out right now.
I'm pretty sure you get annihilated.
Well, here we go. All the postulating in the chat that we did about what the heck is going to happen, we're just going to find out. Yep. Yeah, so you get the game over, unfortunately. So he needs to have one more party member on that left-hand side to do that. F's in the chat for Boo. It's not even a fun game over. You don't even get the music. The sad violin music.
This is going to be pretty close.
Yeah, so Max Frost, what Fleury is doing here is he's trying to complete the 12 bosses for Kefka Tower Skip, and his middle party is been overloaded into the third party slot, and there's only 3 bosses for his party to take on, and he needed 4 to get to the skip. So what he did was, at the switches, you could have the middle party walk back through the tower, get to the Toilet Atma spot, defeat that boss, and then walk back forward through the rest of the middle of the tower. Alright, so, Possess Strats number 2. Let's try this again.
I'm surprised that he even entertained possessing when he had Fire 3 on Celeste. Or no, he doesn't have Fire 3 because she didn't get magic points because he possessed Air Force.
Yeah, I mean, this fight is
Okay.
essentially free, right? Ultros 2 is pretty easy. However, if you don't defeat it quickly, it can get out of hand. Because if he goes under the floorboards and comes back up, it's a whole new set of HP.
Yep. He really wants that possess for the final fight.
All right. So Gogo's going to be sticking around.
Very nice.
So that's our first statue boss down. Fleury has Guardian and the Poltergeist spot. Then he'll get his skip, and he will warp out and overload the side parties with 2 characters each.
We saw a fair number of scary bosses. There's a pretty good chance that we just have like a, you know, a nice little walk through Kefka's tower.
Yep. Well, so far it's been what? Ultros and Tunnel Armor and... Who is at the Toilet Atmos spot?
Oh, I don't remember.
We literally just saw it, and I don't remember it.
Someone in chat will remember.
Yeah, because in the pool that we've seen already, we had the Stooges, Doom, Poltergeist, Doom Gaze, Air Force. A few nasty
There's like
bosses.
still like
Ifrit and Shiva.
Rexol.
Rexol, yeah. Tritalk we saw as well. Yeah, and here's another early game World of Balance boss, Vargas.
Nice Pearl proc. How hard is the Stella's hitting?
Yeah. That's what happens when you find that Illumina.
Yep. Pretty sad that we only found one person who could use it definitively. I guess Locke could. But
Yeah.
we never saw the Illumina, so tragic.
Alright, so that's Vargas done on Flurry's screen. And that is Vargas done on Boo's screen. So Boo has one more boss to go, and Fleury has 2. So Fleury gets his unlock KT skip complete there, and what he'll do is he will warp out and put 2 strong party members on the left side, 2 on the right side, and we'll see if that fight is faster than Boo's, although if he's going to use Possess with Celeste on the right-hand side, then that fight's over pretty much instantly. Yeah, so snipers are much better on, final Kefka fight because most of that boss is floating. So there's that chance of the 3 times procs, right?
Yep, I think everything outside of tier 1 is flying. Is that true?
I don't think Tiger is on tier 2.
Okay.
But yes, you're right. Everything else is.
I'm always mixed on sniper. I love it and I hate it. Okay, yeah, he's not messing with this one. That was a good use of Possess.
Yep. Yeah, if that boss is easier, I'm sure that we would have gotten a different thing, but Hyden and the Hyden Knights this late, no thank you. See you later.
No regrets.
And Gao does get the XP and MP. But there goes Celeste for the second time.
Faddy well.
So you will notice when Boo steps up to the switches to fight Kefka, Celeste won't be a choice. Because Celeste is back driving the airship. His levels are pretty good, too.
He's such a high level. Do you see either of them having issues with this fight? Do they both have mute? Do either of them, rather?
I don't remember.
I haven't noticed it on the Esper spells, and I don't think they've gotten Siren.
So Cyan is rocking like a mithril shield, leather armor, and a leather hat.
He's so cool.
With an aura lance. So he's like, yeah, I'm gonna do a lot of damage, but I can't take a lot. And there goes Go-Go possessing Haydn as well.
Punk rock.
Well, listen, if you're up in the air, you're not getting damaged, right? So there you go. All right, 1:14:17 is when Boo steps on the switches. I didn't write down what time you went into KT, but that's all right. Fleury's just got one more boss to go.
And it's the Ultros.
Yeah.
It's going to get a 1 to 2 shot. I honestly think that Boo's a high enough level. Something's going to have to go wrong in this fight for Fleury to gain ground.
Yeah, so let's think about what each of our runners have, right? So Boo has the Offering with the Sniper on his Shadow. He's got the Jumping Cyan, which Fleury also has. He's got Strago with Magic, and I don't know what his other character is doing. So there you see there's no Celeste on that list, so she can't come into the fight.
Does Boo have Ice 3 on his casters?
I would assume so. That'll make tier 2 a lot easier.
I know he has the Fire 3, I just don't remember what taught the Ice 3.
That was the Doomgaze. Oh
no,
yeah. I'm sorry. Ice 3 is available to both of them.
Okay. Cool.
You're right, it's the Fire 3 that was from the Doomgaze Esper. Yeah, so that'll help out Boo with tier 1 a lot. Both runners will be able to use Air Anchor on the instant deathable parts of the boss. Because I'm pretty sure they're both bringing in Shadow, or is... Maybe Locke is not bringing Shadow in? And Life 3, I think, is going to be our Calmness, along with Palador, maybe. Depending upon what we choose to do. Because I don't remember a Golem or a Fenrir or anything like that.
I know Boo got Phantom. Fleury might have gotten it as well. But that's a sketchy one too.
Yeah, that's a bold strategy there, Cotton.
You need the right party.
Does Boo not have any softs? Uh-oh. Can he... Okay, there it is.
Whew.
I saw him looking through his inventory, and I'm like, I don't see it.
The first pass, he was totally clenched.
Yeah.
But then that sigh of relief.
Yeah, so Cyan not looking too healthy, but Strago's got Pearl Winds, so let's go with some healing there. 1:16:55 for Fleury. That's a difference of 2 minutes and 40 seconds. So we'll see if the Illumina and his other offense can make up for that time. So both of our runners have one character with Possess. So Calmness actually isn't a problem. It doesn't matter, right? Because if Calmness hits a character, then your Possess character comes on board.
Well, they only have... Fleury's used Go-Go to kill...
Oh, in the main part. Oh, and Celeste is in the main party. That's right.
Right. So he doesn't quite get that luxury. I'm curious if you're Boo if you just kill off a character in tier 3. I know I would.
Well, if his Calmness Protection is life 3, then just cast it on 3 of your 4 characters? No. I would just not even bother with Calmness Protection if it's life 3, because that just takes a long time, you know?
Yep. Kill one of your characters, push them over, and then get Go-Go.
Yep.
Curious if that's what he goes with.
Because, well, the problem is if one of your characters rather blocks Calmness, then you're like, well, this is not what I wanted.
Yeah.
So yeah, you still have to kill your character. Absolutely right. Oh, a little reflect action. Very nice. Yeah, Reflect will certainly help against magic without having Mute. So that's another point for Boo here in his side of things. Alright, there's Tools dead. Well, Air Anchor, yeah, you need to wait for whatever it is to take a turn. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not what we wanted to see.
These two Cyans are almost like twins.
Yeah.
Both the Dragoon with the Aura Lance, and they're both hitting for about the exact same numbers.
Alright, well, Magic did... Oh, no. So, this is part of the problem with with Reflect, is that he can't unfreeze his Strago right now.
What a predicament. Oh, it's nice that Reflect's Mute.
Yeah, that lock doing 500 damage is... Yeah, gotta love when Magic... So did the reflected Mute go onto Magic, or did it go on to hit?
It went on to Magic.
Oh,
yeah.
that's just beautiful.
Yep, that's pretty sweet.
Alright, so a little bit of bad luck with not being able to unthaw out Strago. Oh, but now the Life 3 means... Here comes my Magic casts.
Sick 'em, boy. Oh yeah, they're flying. Interceptor can only attack ground targets.
Yep.
You did your best.
The goodest of boys. Alright, Flurry's coming up to tier 2 as well. Boo has got 2 of the parts down. No, Tiger's still alive, right? Yeah, Tiger's still alive.
Lose Reflect from the Dispel. Which is interesting.
I think only because it's an auto reflect, right? Like if you had... Is there like a reflect ring? I don't think there is. Oh yeah, a wall ring.
Yeah, wall
ring. You have a wall ring
but...
on that, you know, you stay reflected.
I was just under the impression that it put that status once on your character at the start of a fight, and that was it.
Alright, well this is going to get dangerous for Boo here, especially if Hit keeps beating up Strago. Lock, whatever, we don't care about as much, but... Okay. Yeah, so Boo just has Tiger left, and Flurry just used Air Anchor on Tools, so Tools will be out of the fight on his side soon enough. Alright, so I think Boo is probably just going to keep Lock dead. How survivable... That's a word, right? Survivable?
Yeah.
How survivable is his Possess character, though?
Gogo was in his party for a pretty long time.
All right.
He equipped him out before he went into the fight. He like threw earrings on him so he can actually do stuff with him.
All right, so it looks like we've got 2 parts left for Flurry of his tier 2. So his tier 2 is a lot faster.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's having that 4th party member that could actually do something.
Yes.
That helps.
I'm very surprised that he just didn't bring Gogo along for the whole thing.
Yeah,
Gogo's
maybe
pretty strong.
Maybe he didn't want to risk it. Oh boy. Yeah, so Whirlwind will heal your party for the amount of HP whatever the caster has. So both Gogo and Strago getting hit by that is no bueno.
Good strat here with the
Elixir
like
and then
X-Potion,
Whirlwind.
Elixir into Whirlwind, yeah. It's just gonna full heal his entire party.
Yeah, he's... Alright, girl's down now.
Later.
So now he's probably got to take some time to cast Life 3 on his whole party, or it looks like he's going to count for Phantom. Ooh, I don't know about this. Oh, I see what he's doing. He's using Phantom now and then Possess. Oh, that's the risk, though.
Into the Merton. He said, nah, nice try, little man.
Oh.
Not today, sir.
Here comes the 10 hits for Flurry.
Eat this Merton.
All right, so he's got to use life 3 now, or he just rolls the dice and sees what happens.
He was perfectly okay going into Final Kefka without Gogo.
Well, and now Gogo is back down again, and it's Meteo time.
Oh, this is the time to do it. Miss on Strago and we're good.
He's got so much HP.
He's a tank.
All right, so Fleury is now up to tier 3. So Fleury's closing the gap real fast.
Just imagine earlier, the difference in time here is pretty much the difference in time it took them to kill Tritalk.
Yeah.
And the only reason that was because Boo ran into Doomgaze and got Fire 3. What a series of events. He's getting lit up with Meteo, though.
Throwing out the Ice Rod. This should probably do it. Oh, no! Oh, no! Oh, disaster.
Well.
Oh, man.
Sucks. That gives Fleury a real chance here. If he can burn through this tier 3, he has Celis.
Right. So all he has to do is just use Celeste's turn and hope. Well, there's a chance that Possess doesn't work, right?
Yeah, but you can just keep spamming it.
Yeah, look at his damage. Look at the damage he's pumping out too, as well.
Hello, Big Dam. The 9200. Yo, up until Gogo got columnist, I thought this was Boo's for the taking.
This is anybody's race here.
It is. This is going to be really close.
Do we have a Mega Elixir? No, we just have one elixir left, and then Pearlwind.
There's columnist. Oh my gosh.
No!
Are you kidding me?
Oh, he got life 3. Oh my god.
Oh my goodness. My heart just skipped many beats. He's gonna need this Possess to miss. He's doing a lot of damage, but I don't think Kefka's like...
Well, Goner is a very long spell animation too.
He just hit for 16k though. This Cyan has got like 3 or 4 4-hit jumps off.
Alright, so here comes the Flame Shield. That's another quad 9. And that's it!
That was so good! I got chills, Schwantz.
And that is it.
Chills.
1:26:44 is the official time.
That was something. Look at that.
And then, whew, that's Fleury done. 1:27:04. That is a 20-second difference. Oh my goodness.
That was tight.
Alright, and first up we've got Boo. GG's on your win. And first up we've got Boo.
Thanks.
GG's
Apparently,
on your
just
win.
barely, huh?
Yeah, that was a very back and forth game. Yeah,
that was
a very back and forth
frustrating
game.
seed. Of course, I knew better than to go do Burning House, but I thought, I'm right here. Maybe it'll give me a leg up. And then, no, it gave me a leg down. And that was garbage. It took like 6 minutes and it was dead. Seemed I had a lot of dead checks that race. I didn't care for it.
So, one particular thing that might not be clear, like, to you because you don't have the full picture, is that I think this game pretty much came down, or this race, it came down to you randomly running into Doomgaze and getting Fire 3 right at the start. Because when you ran into Tritalk in the floating continent, Fleury didn't have that Fire 3.
Oh.
And it was pretty much the X factor where you were able to start creeping ahead.
That was also frustrating because of course I didn't intend to, and it was before I equipped anyone. So I was like just doing with fight, and also I'm pretty sure that was the longest piranhas of all time. So that kind of sucked. But yeah, I guess that that Fire 3 came in handy all seed. I really didn't find any other good spells. No Ultima for me. Did Fleury find Ultima?
Nope.
Huh.
No Ultima.
Like in every practice seed I've done, which granted was only like 3, but well, I guess that's a lot. But I found Ultima, and it's just come down to, you know, holding the A button. This one, I was rocking snipers the entire game, which are okay. And then at least I had my Dragoon strats. I think that's what really saved me.
And give a big shout out to Pearlwind.
Yeah, that came in super handy.
Mm-hmm. That was hot.
Yeah, I couldn't actually, so I was watching other things in my in the game while I was casting. Is life 3 reflectable if you cast it on yourself? Were those not doing anything?
You can life 3
Okay.
through reflect.
I kind of realized when
chat.
Yeah, I kind of realized when Magic life 3'd himself. I was like, wait a minute, have I been life 3ing the enemy this whole time? Because I wasn't really paying attention and while I was casting it. But man, the the damage output was less than stellar. So oh, and of course, my luck at tier 3 there. The one person who gets calmness was my possessor.
You guys will have to go back and watch because it was like a roller coaster because Boo had a clear lead in that final fight, and then he got his possessed character calmness, and then like 20 seconds later, Fleury clears tier 3, and Stellis, his possessor, gets calmness, but we didn't notice that she had life 3 on her, and so he went right up to tier 4 and just murdered it right after you did.
Yeah, you know, I was unsure if my life 3s were doing anything because of the auto reflect, and so I just stopped casting it, and it would have been a better idea to cast that first. Of course, also I was gonna calmness tier 3 to just bypass all the meteos and shit, because again my damage was sorry all the meteos and stuff. Because my damage output was not great, and then so I hit the Phantom. I was like, cool, got calmness on lockdown, and then possess misses and the instant Merton. So I just decided, okay, I'll save it for tier 4, and that didn't work out either. So anyway, overall a frustrating seed. Glad I got the win, but apparently, what was it by 20 seconds? So that's
20 seconds.
A good race.
Yeah, it was a very good race.
To Fleury.
So I also dragged Fleury in here. Congratulations on finishing that seed, Fleury. Unfortunately, it was 20 seconds behind.
Yeah, a little salty, but got decent luck on tier 3. It was one of those where I have a tendency in the Kefka fight to play a little too safe and cost myself some time.
Mm-hmm.
And that time it actually paid off. Like making sure life 3 was on Celeste, and of course, who gets hit with the dispel? Well, okay, let's put it back on. She wouldn't get hit with another 1 out of 4. Oh, okay, that's why I do it. So. I don't know if that was like what I'm gonna go back and probably look at is whether or not that was the correct decision for KT routing. In practice, you get so many levels, even with the free checks, that often it's just not worth it. But a lot of times in practice, Ultima showed up at some point in times, and it didn't appear for me. So
that's correct. Yeah, no Ultima. But you did find Illuminas early, and unfortunately, you kept running into characters that couldn't use it, and then finally, Celeste, you're like, yes, let's go back and let's go get the Illuminas. Cabasiago and I were...
Where were the Illuminas?
In World of Balance, Thamasa.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, that's why I put Locke into my party. Well, I mean, not for Illuminas, but like, I don't like Go-Go, but Locke has great equips. I was like, I've got to find an Illumina, a Ragnarok, an Atma weapon, a Valiant Knife. Something's going to come along this seed, and just never, ever did, so he was useless. Yeah. That would have come in real handy.
Yeah, I think the differences were, Boo, you went to the Coliseum to get the sniper and the offering with the reflect. And running into the Stooges, you still did that Velt Cave fight, even though it was dead. And Fleury had warped out of it. And you got the Stooges, and the Stooges casted Pearlwind, which you were able to use as your healing, because Pearlwind doesn't matter about reflect, which was huge.
That came in real handy. And I'm glad I did that. At the time, I was thinking I was just going to warp out, but then I thought, well, maybe it'll be a good item, and I wanted boss kill for the skip. so that ended up working out. But I don't know, it was too close to call. Like my possess strategy in, I'm sure everybody saw in
On
the
the
left
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 side.
here. I kind of forgot that you need to have somebody left in your
I
party
did that
after
too.
you possess. Oh wow, yeah, it was just
Yep.
like annihilated. I was like, yeah, I annihilated that, but wait a minute.
We were trying to get a clarification from Double Down as to if you possess Final Kefka and you got nobody else alive, you do get the crack pow, but then you get the annihilated and don't go to the credit screen. So I don't think that actually counts as a win, right? Because you don't advance to the ending of the game.
Yeah, I get. Well, wait, does it does the crack pow?
It does the crack pow, but
Because I think timer is on the crack pow. I don't know. Well, this is a debate for another time, I
Right.
guess. But I would say,
well, the
like,
same thing.
I
The
get
same
the
thing
other
would,
side of the argument.
yeah,
But
the
if you
same
see
thing
that crack,
yeah, I was
What's
saying
up?
the same thing would happen if your jumper got poisoned and dies in, a slip hit, right, from tier 1. If your jumper dies from kick damage while he's in the air, he'll still come down and land the killing blow, but then he's dead. So that's the clarification we'll certainly have to make.
Oh
with
yeah.
Possess.
Speaking of which, well, not really that, but it reminded me. Tier 2, my caster got frozen, and I tried to unfreeze him, but I had reflect on, so I
Yep.
just had to sit there like a butthole the whole time. It was not, I'm kind of notorious for having horrific Kefka fights, and this one was bad, but I guess it wasn't the worst. Anyway,
Well,
I'll let Fleury talk.
I think that was the only instance of Reflect giving you some trouble. But some trouble also came to Fleury in the very beginning with some of those grind fights that were horrifically bad as well. You went to like 3 different places, right? Before you finally were like, okay.
It was the 4th fight. At first it was Magic Urn, then Intangier, and then something else that was no-go, so I finally, South Figaro Cave finally got the job done. But like the real hurdle that seed for me was the Poltergeist fight.
Mm-hmm.
Once I got through that, I was like, all right, we didn't have, like, my biggest issue is that getting ramped up, right? Especially in flag sets where the scaling kind of takes off relatively quickly. In this case, because of the levels, you find yourself relying on, like, oh, maybe this landslide on dance will hit on a 25,000 HP Chad. All right, there goes 15 minutes. That didn't happen. So that was, getting past that was nice. I was very thankful to catch a bunch of the earlier runs to kind of get an idea of do all the shopping, do all the looting. It's okay if it's 25 minutes before you take your first boss fight, because you know that won't happen. And sure enough, like, ended up with a Dragoon setup ready to go, ended up with Illuminas if I got one of like 4 or 5 characters, and a couple decent magic users, and it worked out. So that was really the only hurdle. I thought we were going to get another week 6 required FT maybe somehow, but that didn't happen, thankfully. But I think it worked out really well. I just didn't want to lose by 30 seconds. I expected to come in to lose by about 3 to 5 minutes, not by 20 seconds.
Honestly, and I know Kilbasiago said this before, I think had you accidentally run into Doomgaze like Boo did and got an Esper that had both Fire 3 for Tritalk and Stop for Poltergeist, I think that was where the race was won and lost. It's just...
Actually, well, I that certainly would have helped Fleury out, but I was going to cast Stop until he stopped himself, and the auto reflect came in handy in that particular part. Did you have to get through Poltergeist using nothing but Blowfish about 17 times also?
Yeah, Blowfish and Drill. I had a couple of Ice 3 charges at the time, so that helped. But
I did not find
I
Ice
also
3.
had like 100 magic points or something like that. Very little.
I think
Ice 3 was super early.
I think it was from Ebbets Rock.
Ebbets Rock, yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't do that.
Bless your heart. I hate doing it.
Well, I did Burning House, which ended up, and I think I skipped a total of maybe one flame in that whole place, and then it ended up being a snow muffler that nobody could wear. So
Golly. Yeah,
take
that's
solace
not
in
fun.
that, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
Ebbett's
something
Rock.
else is dead too.
That's
Oh, locks check. What a
that and the auction
South
house
Figure
are the two. I
Cave,
just,
yeah.
You did the auction house?
No.
Oh, no.
I am a quasi-moral stance against the auction house. I don't like it as a mechanic until the
don't,
RNG gets fixed.
Yeah, I don't.
I
I'm right
think
there with you.
so.
I don't.
If
I
I
only
lose to
do
an
it like
auction house,
if my choices are like floating continent or auction house, I'm going to the auction house. But that's about the only scenario. Or I guess Leap River.
So, Keel, do you have any other final questions for our runners?
Not really. That was an awesome race.
Yeah.
It was pretty like samey up until you guys did Floating Continent, and then we got
after Floating Continent, which is where
where Fleury went straight for Doma and got Celis, and then Boo took Gao and then got Lock, and so there's some divergence there. You guys kept like high-fiving, like crossing paths and doing the other checks, but it was really hard to tell who was actually going to win. And then that KT about gave me a heart attack, like that final fight, those final like last 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm excited to go back and watch.
I can't remember who it was. It was either Boo or Drew, but one of you had a race in like round 1 where it took 7 fights, I think, to get the Gao check.
Oh, that was me.
Yeah, that was Bo. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't want that to happen to me.
Yeah, I got those vibes right after my first battle yielded nothing, and I was like, oh, don't do this to me again. But luckily, I got it on the second one, I think. Maybe
Yeah,
it wasn't
very
the second
long.
one. It was the third.
Yeah, it wasn't very long though. So
I think the other one was there was a race in round 1 where Zone Eater checked at like 7 straight demis.
ugh,
Yeah.
Like,
I got one. I got one this time, I think, but only one.
only one.
RNG is not kind to me, but good race. GG's. Thanks for hosting Schwantz and Keel, Bossy, as we like to call him. I mean,
Nobody
that's what I'm
calls
calling
me
him now.
Hell yeah.
Nobody call me that.
He loves Bossy. Don't listen to. He's being coy.
I mean,
And
you could be Asiago, like the Chi is, right? and lean on that guy instead of the Kobasi.
now would be a decent time to make a semi-announcement. If anybody wants to try out some new Worlds Collide content, head over to the Discord, check out the beta test, help us test out some stuff. We're adding a surprise new check and boss to Worlds Collide. Go check it out.
Very cool.
are you removing any?
No, not
There
removing
are-
it.
Auction house. Abbott's Rock.
there are 1 or 2 bosses I think that are not. They're currently not in Worlds Collide, but they're like in the very early. So
There is. I don't know if I should. I don't know if I should say this. There's a potential fix, quote unquote fix for Abbott's Rock that may or may not see the light of day.
yeah,
We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
I have ideas about Fanatics Tower as well.
There'll also be a way to force Auction House to be items. So rejoice, Auction House haters.
Yep. All right. Well, thank
All right,
you.
Bill.
Got any other final thoughts, Boo?
Not
that
from me. Just thanks again. Good race. Catch you at the next one. Oh,
right.
me versus Ficta next time.
Yes.
Everybody, place your bets.
Well, good luck, Boo.
on Ficta.
And Fleury, unfortunately, that means for you, this is the second time that you are where I am out of the tournament. Any other final thoughts before we let you go?
I had a lot of fun. I guess not so much upset about not being able to advance further in the tournament. That's totally fine. But there's a lot of good flag sets in this event, and the diversity between the 12, 14, however many there are, is something I hope sticks around. Like, a lot of these flag sets have legs as just being different ways to play the game, and as someone who has spent 4 years and 8 events of free enterprise trying to figure that out, I have a lot of respect anytime someone pulls it off in such a good way. So I thought it was really cool. Hope to see more stuff like that. And maybe get in the commentator booth at some point in time. Here and there would be fun, but
yeah, for sure. We
yeah,
always need
it's
volunteers, so if you want to, ask in the Discord to volunteer your role. All right, thank you,
yeah,
Fleury.
it's been fun. Thanks.
Basiago, any other final words before we get going? I got to get out of here in 5 minutes, so
I'm good.
wrap it up like a present.
Wrap it up, Schwantz.
There we go. So thank you to Boo and Fleury for allowing us to broadcast you guys for the race. It was a really exciting, awesome one. So again, appreciate that. Basiago, as always, thank you for joining me in the booth. It's very hard to do this with just being a solo commentator, so I really appreciate you stepping in and helping out. And thank you everybody out there for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye now.